Hi everyone, it's Tracy here from Art Fibre Stitch. I've got a hankering to do some botanical printing. Here's my gel plate. Yes, it is just like jelly. I'm just getting off any bits and pieces that might be stuck to it. And I have my brayer, like a rolling pin with a handle. And I have some paints, some acrylic paints. This one's a bit of a slow one, so it'll be good to stay on the plate for a little while. I'm just going to put some black, I think. And I'm wanting to have a mixture of colours, so I'm going to try some of this red. And something else, some yellow. And maybe some purple. We'll see what this does. It's always a big experiment. Never get worried about it. You'll use all of these bits and pieces of paper. I like it. I like to make bits of paper for future use. I've just been out to the garden and I found these nice little delicate flower heads, weed heads, something. And I'm going to use the brayer now, and I'm going to just mix these paints a bit and see what I get. That's turning into one big dark mass, but you never know. We'll see. That's what I mean. Nothing is a disaster. I think that whatever happens, you end up with something interesting. I'll be very interested to see what this does. That red is not mixing in very well. Oh well. Once I've gotten a film all over it, I'm going to place my bit of weed or flower head. See, isn't that lovely and delicate? I'm just going to place that on top there. And now I'm going to use some paper. I thought I'd use some different paper, so I'm using some printed scrapbooking paper here, just to see what it does. And I'm going to smooth it like this. Make sure it's taken. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I like it. That's what we call a negative print. And I'm going to try it here on some old, really old musical paper from a music book. It's a little bit fragile. I'm just going to tease those corners down. Whoop! And I'm going to have to be careful pulling it off or it's going to really fall into bits. But see? And now I've got that musical print showing through it. Still plenty of paint on this plate. Look at this. This is a Kozo paper, a handmade paper, and it's got banana leaf bits in it. I'm just going to try it down one side, see what that does. And a bit more. Quite like it. What next? Here's another Kozo paper. Little bits of leaves in there. It's still doing something. This one's a pearly colour. It's a card from scrapbooking. So when I get that design on there, it's going to show that really nice pearly paper underneath. See, I quite like that too. But look at that red that never really mixed in. I don't really like that. You know, I'm thinking I'm going to start again. I'm going to get a wet tissue to start with, and I'm just going to get rid of some of that and start again. Once I've gotten rid of most of it, I'm just going to then get a cloth that's wet. Clean up after myself. Get rid of those bits and pieces that are still stuck to the jelly plate. Must be underneath. Alright, so I also have to clean the brayer. get any paint off it. So back out into the garden. That's from a bottle brush. This is a vine called Patria, very lovely. I just thought we'll try some other things that aren't quite so delicate and see what they do. So a bit more paint. I've used a yellow this time. What else have I got in here? This one is a rust colour. And I'm just going to use those two for now. See how I'm mixing it a bit? So I've mixed and put some of that rust colour further down into the design. So it's a mixture now. Don't want to mix it into one just big colour. I like that there's bands there. We'll just use it as that. Here's my bottle brush. Callistemon, I think they're really called. I'm going to place it down flat. And maybe that bit up there. And I'm going to grab a paper that I've already used. And I'm just going to see what it does. This is all about experiment. There is no disaster. So this one's a nice soft paper. I'm able to really meld it into that plant underneath. The Botanicals. I love it. Let's pick it off and see what we got. Oh, very interesting. I could see that being the background for a nice piece. What about, could I use a bit of that? I don't need to use the whole plate either. I could just use a section of it to take a bit off. I'll try this one again, see what it does. I like the way that different bits of paint are sticking to that plate. I have to be very careful removing this. Whoop. Yeah. Oh, there's a bit gone. But, you know, I'll probably rip it up anyway to use it in other artworks. But now I'm going to take them off. And I'm going to try and do a positive print here. And that way I'm going to get whatever was underneath that, the flower or the leaf or whatever I've put down. And that paint is going to show. And that is a positive print. See? That's quite pretty too. So I'm just using the same papers again and again. I really shouldn't, but they're handy. And I just want to see. I'm just going to use that section. It's a scrapbooking sort of heavy duty card one. Not a lot happening now. I think it's nearly gone. So I'll clean it off again. Let's have another go at a different colour and see what happens. Once it's clean, I'll pop some different paint on. Little blobs. I'm going to use some white this time, see what that does. I've got a bit of yellow still on my brayer. I could clean it off, but I thought, oh, maybe I'll get some of that in there as well. And now we'll see what happens. So that was a purple that I put down originally. Purple and yellow go lovely together. Now you can make this all into one colour by continually mixing it like this, or you can leave bits of colour that you like. Really, it's up to you to experiment and see what you like the look of. So, on with this Patria. There's the leaf. I'll try it. And here's the flower too. I'll put it at the other end and we'll see what we can get from that. Probably should have had some other paper ready, but I've got these ones here. And I love the idea of experimenting with it. Not sure what to do with this one, so I'm just going to put just the corner, just that little bit there, and see what it does. Oh, put a bit of purple into that design. Nice. They're not really staying. Put them back on. Hope for the best. Now this is a great craft to do with children. So I have done it with children, my grandchildren to be precise, on just ordinary paper and seen what happens. Here's one, and I'm going to try, you know, putting something on top of it, seeing what that does. Pressing it all down to make sure that the paint goes on around that flower. And when I've got it ready, I'm going to peel it off and see. There we go. Now imagine all of the different things that I've managed to get from this little tiny experiment. I'll have plenty to choose from when I want to make something special. Well, that's some negative prints that have taken most of that paint off. I'm just going to remove these bits of flowers now, and I'll try and do a positive print from what's left there. Do I want to go? Oh, I can just use one of them there. Not showing a great deal, but we'll see. Get rid of the leaves too, and maybe pop some of this one down. No, I quite like it just as it is. Maybe this one here, this green one. It's all green, so adding a bit of purple will do. And that will clear off this plate. Oh, peel it away from your jelly plate. And we've added some purple to this interesting design. And maybe there's a tiny bit left. I can pop a bit of purple on this as well. Uh-oh. Gonna have to be careful taking this fragile stuff off. Yeah, just that little touch of purple. Quite nice. I like that there's no way you can plan. Well, you probably could plan, but I like it like this. I like that we're just experimenting and seeing what happens. This is another one I did with my grandchildren. You know, you could then try to see if there's any paint left on your foliage and print it. But I think this one's a bit dry, so it's probably not going to work. But you get the idea. Just use and reuse things until there's nothing left. Just going to put a very fine sheet of this purple that's left here on my brayer, I think, and see if we can get anything else from this. Pop those leaves on again. This is very light, isn't it? I wonder what will happen. I'm thinking it'll just give a very vague, kind of transparent kind of colour to it. Look at this garish yellow copy paper. This is what I was playing with the kids, but I just thought let's try and tone it down a little bit with this fine film of purple. So it did something. Well, I think that needs a lot of work, but we'll turn it over, get rid of the leaf and see what happens then. I think we've done what we can. Yeah, interesting. You know, but that emerald colour is way too dark in it. Too different. So I'm going to add some more emerald to this plate. Let's just keep going and see if we can resurrect it. Just going to add a little bit. Just fine. When it's fine like this and you've got paint left on your brayer, it can come off. You're better off to do it in one direction. I haven't. I've gotten a mottled mess, but that's okay too. And I think I need something on there. See, that green is way too different to the purple. It's very hard to obscure the yellow paper. Well, I'm giving it a go. What will happen here? We've added a band of that aqua kind of colour. I'm just going to use the rest here. It's such a surprise what ends up happening. You don't know. I think that has potential, that one. So let's look at some of the ones that we have done. Had my paints, my brayer, just a few bits of paper, my jelly plate, and look what happens. I end up with all of these interesting things. But the beauty will be when we start to put them together with other things. And I think we've got a really good palette to use when we're doing some collage or want some special bit. We can go to our papers that we've made ourselves. Oh, look at that one. I love that. But this one, it's a bit boring. What if we added some other bits? You know, I think that's where the magic comes in. Look at that. That's the makings of a great picture. So that's what I would be doing. I would be making bits and then using some of it to add to others. Or maybe interplaying colours. You know, so experiment away. Have fun. And see what you can get from this. I think it's a wonderful craft and I really do enjoy playing with it. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Thank you again.